If you're looking to create your own product slider or multi-carousel using React, this is the right video for you. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this amazing product slider or multi-carousel using React. I'm going to show you the best, the quickest, and the simplest way to get this job done. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. Welcome back. As always, MFH here, and I hope all of you guys doing well. Okay, now let's see how are we gonna build this carousel. First off, if we search for multi-carousel React on Google, the first result that will show up is this one, React multi-carousel. And if we navigate to this link, we are directed to this page of npmjs.com. Here we can see React multi-carousel. Also here we can see some screen records of the final result. I'm gonna make something similar to this one. Let's scroll down a bit. Here is the installation section. We have to run this command to install the package first if we want to use it. Let's now paste it in the terminal and hit enter. It was very quick. It only took 2 seconds. Very quick. Let's now copy and paste these 2 lines to import carousel inside our component. Let's paste them on top of our component. And now if we scroll down a little bit more, we can see 2 setups, minimum setup and common usage setup, with additional features that we can add to the carousel. I'm going to use the minimum setup and then gradually add some features to it if we want to. I already imported these 2 lines, so I'm going to leave them. So the code that we have to copy is all of this. It's actually copied this object first, the responsive object. You may already guess this object is responsible for responsiveness of the carousel. Let me copy it and let's paste it in here. Now let's copy the rest of the remaining code. And I'm gonna paste it inside the markup underneath the h1 element. Let's hit the save button and start the dev server. I'll run npm run dev to start the dev server. Now the server is up and running. I'm gonna navigate to this link. Let's see if it works. I already pasted the URL, so I'm just gonna hit refresh. And yeah, it is working fine. Very nice and cool. Let's create our product card inside the carousel instead of one of these elements. I'm gonna remove the placeholder text and start creating my own element. Just a quick note, I already created some styling to product card, and to save time, I'm not gonna bother you writing some CSS in this video. So that's why I'm just gonna add class name to some of the elements for their styling. So let me add a class name of card to this div element. Inside this card div element, I'll add an image tag, and the source of the image will be this link. Let's turn on word wrap because I don't want to go off the screen. For all text, I'll write product image, for instance. Underneath image tag, I'll add a h2 for product name. In this case, it would be sport sneakers because the image that I copied link of is a sneaker image on Unsplash website. Underneath h2 element, I'm gonna add a p tag with class name of price. Let's add an imaginary price, for example, $20.99, something like that. Let's add another p tag beneath price element for product description. For example, some description about product. And add another p tag. Inside that, I'll add a button for add to cart. Okay, let's hit the save button and see what happens. It's almost working fine, just the image is not looking so well. Let's see what's the problem. Okay, I forgot to add the class name for my image. Let me add a class name of product-image. Now let's hit the save button and see if it works. And yes, it looks much better now. Let me remove all of these items and duplicate this card several times just to see if it works correctly. And yeah, it's working very well. But this is not enough. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hit Ctrl Z to undo the card duplication. Okay, now I want to move this product card's elements to its own file. So for that, I'll create a new file with the name of productJSX. And let me add the boilerplate of this component. And instead of this, I'll add this card element. So I'll cut it out from here and paste it instead of this div element. And hit the save button here. And inside this carousel, I'll add the product component. If I hit enter, it will import automatically. Let's hit the save button and see if it works. And yes, it is working. Let's duplicate it several times because I want to customize the carousel. Later on, we'll have different products, but for now, we stick with it. Okay, now let me explain this responsive object. This responsive object, as you may already guessed, is responsible for making our carousel responsive. What do I mean by responsive? You may already know. Let's hit Ctrl-Shift-I to bring Chrome DevTools and drag it like this. You can see it's all responsive. So it's responsible for this. But we can customize it a little bit because I don't like to show only 3 products or items on a large desktop viewport like this. But instead, I like to show 4 of them or maybe 5 of them. First off, look at the breakpoints. I don't want the maximum of tablet to be 1024 pixels, but I want 768 pixels, or I'd rather 800. And now Whenever we change a viewport, we have to change the relative viewport of the changed viewport too. So in this case, I changed the maximum of the tablet mode. Now I have to change the minimum of desktop too. In this case, it would be 800. And I want the maximum of desktop to be 1024. And for super large desktop viewport, I'm gonna add 1024, and the maximum is just fine for me. And now I don't like to show 3 items on desktop version, but I like to show 4 items at least. And for tablet mode, 2 is alright, I think. Let's save it and take a look at it. Let me refresh the page. And yeah, we have 5 items on a large desktop viewport like this. And if I bring up Chrome DevTools once again to see if it works well, yeah, it works pretty much fine. Great stuff. Let's add even more improvements to this project. Okay, let's remove the duplicate product components from here because I want to send different data through props to have different product items. To make that happen, I'm going to make an array of objects that contains different product details. I'm going to call it product data. The first property would be ID and set that to 1. I'll add an image URL. Let me copy this link and paste it here. I will also add a name. Let me just copy the details of this product card for now. Let's add a price and let me copy price of this product and paste it here. Let's add a description and let's copy description of this product as well. Okay, now let's have more instances of this object. So I'm going to duplicate this object and just change the values of this object. Well, to save time, I already made an array. Let me grab it from my reference monitor and paste it here. It's a little long array with 8 items in it. All of them have the same properties. They have ID, image URL, name, price, and description. So what am I gonna do? Let me collapse this array just because I don't wanna go so much down and up. And now I'm gonna map over this array. So I'll say productData.map and I'll add a parameter. I'll call it item and I'll use an arrow function. And for the sake of simplicity, I'll write it like this to omit the return keyword. Now inside this callback function, I'll return the product component. And instead of this, I will call this function. So to be able to do that, I have to assign it to a variable. In this case, I'll call it product. And now instead of this product component, I'll add the product variable. Let's save it and see if it works. And it already started working. We have 8 different elements according to product data array, but all of these cards are still the same. However, if we take a look at our array, all of these objects are different from each other. That's because we are not receiving any data from anywhere and everything is hard coded. So we have to receive data through props. So for that, I'm going to send data of the product data array through props. So inside this component, I'll send data. So for product name, I'll say name and pass item.name. This item refers to this parameter. For image URL, I'll say URL and pass item.image URL. For price, item.price. For description, I'll send item.description. Let's hit the save button here, and inside product component, I have to accept props first. So instead of this long URL, I have to remove it and add curly braces. And inside curly braces, I'll say props.url. Instead of product name, I'll say props.name. Instead of price, I'll say props.price. And instead of description, I'll say props.description. Let's hit the save button and see if it works. And yes, we have different products in our carousel. It looks very, very cool. It's draggable, it's swipeable on mobile phone, and it is fully functional. This much is all you need. If we get back to our code, we can make our code even more clean and organized. For now, it looks a very long file, which doesn't look good at all. So what we can do, we can move this object, this responsive object, and this product data array into a separate file. To do so, I'm going to create a new file. I'll call it data.js, for instance, and inside this, I'm going to select the responsive object and product data array and cut them from here and then paste them here. And to make these two work, we have to export them. And now what am I going to do? I'm going to point my cursor to product data and press Control space. It will pop up the location of the array, which is currently in the same directory. If I hit enter, it is automatically imported. We can do it manually just by simply typing it out, but I'd rather do it automatically. Same here for responsive object. I'll press Ctrl space and then hit enter. You can see both of them are automatically imported here. Now let's save this file and either this file and see if it works. And yes, it works very, very well. Okay, now there are some more features that we can add to our carousel. Here we can customize the amount of items that we want to slide each time we hit left and right arrow buttons. By default, it is set to 1 and slides only one item at a time. Let's copy this and go to data.js and paste it here. Now it will slide 3 items. Let's hit the save button and see if it works. And yeah, it works fine. If we give it 2, it will slide 2 items. We can also add these features to our carousel. For example, we can enable or disable swipeable, we can enable or disable draggable, or we can show the dots. Let's apply this feature. Let's copy and paste it here. And it is set to true. Let's save it and see the result. It works just fine. It's fully functional. Here we have many other features that I'm not gonna go through each of them, but you are free to play and free to experiment with them. For instance, you can render it on server side, you can make it autoplay, you can change the speed of autoplay. It is counted by milliseconds, so 1000 milliseconds is 1 second, 2000 would be 2 seconds, 3000 would be 3 seconds, and so on. You can customize the transition speed, and so on. Great stuff here. You can add custom arrows, but I'm not gonna cover all these features because I wanted to make this video as short as possible. But you're free to play with them and experiment all of them to obtain the desired result of your choice. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this video was helpful and you learned something from this video. I'll leave the GitHub repository link of this project in the description of this video. You can find the code of this project in there. Consider subscribing to my channel, hit the like button, share this video with your friends, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, and see you next time.